Yes, take me home. United Road, what's going on? How's it going, guys? How's it going, Touch? Buddy Touch, how are you? Hey, Imran. Hi, Adam. How is it going? How's it going, everyone? It's good having you. And I'm just gonna post this link. Anyone wants to come on? Let's get into it. Yeah, guys. Eventful days in boxing. Last couple of days. You know, nothing surprises me anymore. Just got my tickets for Joshua fight. It's going to be a good fight. That's going to be a good fight. Very, very good fight. It's 60,000. It's 60,000, isn't it? It's 60,000, or is it 80,000? I can't remember how many tickets are there. 80,000 or is it 60,000? I think it might be 60, right? Yeah, I think it may be 60. I have a feeling it's 60. Yeah, man. Lucky you. That got sold out quite quick. Fair play. You ended up getting a ticket really, really quick. Joshua Usyk seems the savior for this year. Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Because at the minute, I wouldn't hold your breath with anything, because it looks like all the big fights are falling. Benavidez' fight got called off as well. Yeah, Touch, just snap. I'm good, brother. Now Benavidez has tested positive. This is ridiculous. Yeah, just about said that. Benavidez is off as well. You know, we've had Conor Ben off. We've had so many fights just been cancelled. Pacquiao Spence. You know, at least we get Pacquiao Ugas. Hopefully none of them test positive for COVID and we actually get a fight. But at the minute, it just seems ridiculous with all these people testing positive. It's a nightmare at the minute, to be honest with you. Nightmare, absolute nightmare. Hopefully we can get these fights going, because at the minute it just seems crazy with everything happening this year. Did you get around to the Charles Farrell? No, I didn't. What did he say? What's he saying? What's he saying? So yeah. Hopefully things get better. He used to fix fights back in the day. A lot of conspiracy theories and conspiracists with all this Spence and Pacquiao stuff. Crazy stuff going on in the last couple of days. But yeah, what do you guys make of this fight? You might have to get in the ring soon if another fight is cancelled. Yeah, they may be calling me up. I think the Spence situation is genuine. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think the Spence situation is genuine, without question. I think Spence, you know, he had too much. Why would Spence? I know fans are accusing him of ducking and stuff, but why would Spence want to duck? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you know, you work all your life to get an opportunity like this, to get a big fight like that. So yeah, I think it's a bit harsh. You know, the criticism that Spence has got are very harsh. Salute, Brendan. I hope you're well. The Wellingborough alone says David B off due. Yeah, David B is off. Indeed. Unfortunately, it seems like all the fights this year are all off. Adam KM says Spence wouldn't turn away from a lifetime opportunity. Of course he wouldn't. It'd be crazy to turn away. So Carl's in the house. Last belt in the house. How are you, Carl? Isaac Bermudez says Canelo the Albert Einstein. If boxing and PBC fanboys are mad, they need something to help them sleep better. You know what? At the time, I was a little critical of Canelo. That I was like, man, you can't cancel a fight because of that. But actually, Canelo was probably made the right decision, because with what's going on in the current climate we live in, with COVID going off, Canelo couldn't afford to give up. He couldn't afford to give up, that payday. Like if, for example, the plant fire had fell through, Canelo might have lost 20, 30 million. So yeah, Canelo probably did the right thing. Minnie Mill says, I'd pray for Khan at this point. I'd pay for Imran v. Khan at this point. You must not like me, man. You want me to get hurt. Spence didn't duck. His resume and character says otherwise. Yeah, he's Spence, man. He's a great fighter. I like Spence. Very, very good fighter. But a lot of people seem to be criticizing him. I think it's a lot of the people, the Manny Pacquiao fans, because the Manny Pacquiao fans feel like if he had pulled out, a lot of people would have criticized these channels that people go on about, would have criticized Manny for ducking. So now I think the Manny Pacquiao fans are getting their own back on Errol. But like the way I look at it is, I'm neutral. So I just don't believe in conspiracy, to be honest with you. I just don't know why Errol Spence would want to turn down such a big opportunity. Errol hasn't backed down from anybody. Why would he back down from an old Manny? Yeah, good point. Good point there, Carl. I think I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree. The only thing is, if Errol wasn't looking good in training camp and he was getting, as they were saying, there was rumors that he was getting beat up or whatever, could he pull out? Possibly, but again, I don't really see it, to be honest with you. But Brendan Jackson says Canelo did everything right, ensuring that he got paid as the A side. Caleb had guaranteed 10 million set in line, so there was a zero justification for the fight not going through. True. Canelo did everything right, ensuring that he got paid as the A side. Yes, Caleb had his guarantee of 10 million set in line, so there was zero justification for the fight not going through. I think it was down to the replacement, the replacement opponent, which in the end, I think Canelo was probably right. Because if Canelo didn't have that replacement in contract, if Caleb Plant got injured or the fight fell through because of COVID, Canelo wouldn't be getting paid, the money that he's normally getting paid. So it is what it is. Errol back down. Hi there, says Errol back down. Back down from what? I'm not a doctor or oncologist, but do you think he has fully recovered from the horrific car accident? Well, he had a fight, Toch. He had a fight. So can we still speculate whether he's 100% or not? He had a fight. Let's be honest. He fought. So can we really question whether he still did? Like, he had a fight. So, he looked all good in that fight. He beat Garcia better than Garcia's been beat better than anyone. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Jay says, boxing is a dangerous sport. Please, casuals, let's try to remember that. Yeah, it's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. It's a very dangerous sport. People get hurt. Some people go in and they're never the same after that. So I think, yeah, it's a very, very dangerous sport. Hi there. Killing profits is dangerous sport. What? Carl W says, look, none of us get access to the camp. So this nonsense about him not looking good in camp is just BS from Manny fanboys, full stop. Yeah, possibly, yeah. We don't know. We don't know for sure. We can't go off looking off a picture, because when a guy's making weight, he's not always going to look great, and Errol Spence, as we know, is a big, big welterweight. So it's not going to be easy for him to make weight. I think that's quite obvious. But I don't think, like Carl says, I don't think we can say for sure whether he was, not in a great way. I just think, yeah, a lot of it's just speculation. Are there any travel restrictions to UK from USA? I don't think so. I think it's not anymore. No, they have recently been lifted. No question. I don't use accident for or against Spence. Just hope he recovers ASAP. What do you guys do? You think we'll see? Do you think this eye injury that he suffered could affect Spence in the long run? Because he suffered a torn retina, according to reports. So that can be quite serious, So let's see how that plays out, to be honest, because that's quite a serious injury. So Iron KB says, imagine the replace the guy for Canelo v Plant fight was Charlo. Yeah, that would have been great. I wouldn't have minded that. But would Canelo have been all right with that? Because at the end of the day, you're replacing somebody top level. Would Charlo be happy with that? I don't know. Charlo might want a full camp for Canelo. He might not just want to jump in with Canelo. So I'm not sure whether Charlo or Canelo would have been happy with that. So everyone's got to agree, to be honest with you. They've all got to come to an agreement. So I'm not sure. Charlie barely winning at 154. No, but we're talking about the other Charlo, Jamal, not Jamel. Brendan Jackson says, depends on who he fights, what kind of jab they have. Who are we talking about here? Who are we talking about here? Okay, Jay says, I hope nothing happens to the AJ fight. I can't have the AJ fight cancelled. Damn stupid COVID. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not. That's September, so we're looking at next month. You know, it's not long away now. It's not far away, that AJ fight. But Manny Pacquiao was 1.5 weeks away. Manny Pacquiao's still fighting, guys. So, you know, we're still going to get to see Manny fight. That's 1.5 weeks away. So Manny's still going to be, he's still going to be fighting. So I can't wait for that, to be honest. So Rene De Leon says Canelo needs relax on his financial demands. He's already a millionaire. Stop being greedy and go for the legacy. Can't have them both. After he becomes undisputed, he could just focus on money fights. True, but when you're at the level that Canelo's at, I think every fight is important because every fight you want to maximize your income. But I get what you're saying, but here's a problem. Here's a problem now. If Caleb Plant had fallen through, the fight had fallen through, then Canelo is left, Canelo's left, you know, in a back to a corner, you know. So I think Canelo was just making sure from his side that everything, he was looking out for himself, basically. But I get what you're saying. Brendan Jackson says Spence, in regards to his, if his eye gives him problems in the future. Yeah. Is his eye going to give him problems? Depends on who he fights. Okay, what kind of jab? Okay, I get what you were saying now. Yeah, so I don't know. Is Spence going to be the same, man? I don't know. You know, because at the end of the day, he looked good against Danny, but is his eye going to be an issue? I don't know. He's torn his retina. That's a serious injury where a few guys are able to come back from that. And you know what? Spence has had so many, you know, go off in his life, like that accident. God knows how he, like, you know what? When I saw that accident, I didn't even know how he survived, to be honest. He not just survived it, then came back from it. And now he suffered another serious injury to his eye, you know. So I just wish him all the best, man. I really like Errol Spence, but things of late haven't been going too well for him. I don't want to go into conspiracies, but I think they are letting Pacquiao do all the dirty work. Beat Ugas, and then when he is even older, have him fight Spence and keep the belts in house. Yes, I get what you're saying, Eric. But I don't know. I just don't know why Spence would let go of a fight like that, because Spence knows that Manny Pacquiao is at the end of his career. Just say if Ugas beats Manny Pacquiao, then Spence will never get to face Manny Pacquiao. So Spence is the one losing out here, especially if Manny loses. Spence loses out. So I don't know what Spence has to gain by doing that. Carl says the AJ fight will take place, but it will be over in a flash. AJ knockout, so don't blink or you will miss it. Let's see. I'm not sure the fight's going to be as easy as what you just stated there. Okay. Hi there. He took his last DAZN fights easy, but he started out with GGG. I think he should just fight Bivol at 175, but it's probably going to be 172 and for the belt. Yeah, possibly so. I wouldn't mind seeing the Bivol fight. But I want to see him fight Plant first. to be honest with you. I want to see him fight Plant before he fights Bivol and fights those 175 guys. Kamek Ozzy says, the fact people are upset at Canelo shows the boxing intelligence. PBC is a joke. Canelo knew that how they do business over there. Pacquiao got screwed. Canelo knew better. Yeah, Canelo, you can arguably say Canelo made the right decision. But the problem is now Canelo looks like he's going to be in negotiation with PBC again because he's trying to get the he's basically trying to get the Canelo Plant fight done again. So he's going to be in he's going to be in negotiations with him again. The problem with Canelo taking less is that it will always be expected from him, etc. Yes, I get where you're coming from. It just depends. I don't know. How is Canelo going to strike a deal with PBC? That's what I'm trying to think. How's he going to strike a deal with a PBC? Because at the end of the day, he's going to have to get a deal done with the PBC, right? Otherwise, the fight's not going to happen. So Canelo's going to have to strike a deal with the PBC. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for us to get a fight. So Canelo. Well, oh yeah, guys, David Hayes coming back. David Hayes fighting. Okay, what's this? Carl saying, Canelo has been fighting since he was a boy, so you cannot blame him for getting the most money possible. It's called business. Sometimes you boxing romantics make me laugh. Fair enough. Canelo has been fighting since he was a boy. He has been fighting, and it is a business. And that's why he was trying to get the best deal for himself. But I don't know. I'd probably have to go with that. I think it's money over belts, money over legacy. Money's at the end of the day, money is more important than all of that stuff because you can't eat legacy. You can eat, you can't eat legacy. So, and he's already a legend already, Canelo. So it's not like what legacy? He's already a legend. So look at Kell Brook after the GG fight. He was so great before that fight. Yeah, well, that was just a silly fight to take. That was just a crazy fight, and it ended up costing him. The only fight I'm confident that will happen at this point is AJ Usyk. Why are you so confident that will happen? Oscar De La Hoya is still on. Is it? I'm not really paying that much attention on Oscar De La Hoya at the minute. David Benavidez tested positive for COVID. Yes, he did, and that fight's off. Hello, James. Hope you're well. Hi there. Yeah, Oscar was so excited about his comeback. Is Oscar off as well? Is that fight off? I haven't been really paying much attention to Oscar De La Hoya. Let's come back. Let's not forget, let's not write off Ugas. He's a good fighter. If Spence was ducking Pacquiao, he would have claimed that he was COVID positive. Yeah, that's true as well. That was true as well. Yeah, I don't really buy the ducking of Spence ducking. I don't really buy that. I think it's a legitimate injury. I think he's got a legitimate eye socket problem. So I wish him a speedy recovery, Spence. Eric Teller said, not Canelo, by maybe Hearn is one of the more protected, is the one who protected Canelo. De La Hoya already took the advantage of Canelo. Maybe Eddie told him not to let go of the guarantee clause. Possibly. Who knows? What's he fighting? His left leg. Who's fighting? Sad that the PBC blocks most of the fights. PBC needs Canelo to secure a 4th year with a Fox. Al needs Canelo. Yeah, at the minute, everyone needs Canelo. Canelo draws numbers, man. Jose Sanchez, if I give Canelo a lot of credit for fighting Avni Yildirim, the most duck fighter in the history. Lol. Jay says, Kell Brook had the same injury as Errol, and he was not the same after. Yeah, he sure wasn't. Yildirim is not good. I think he really he's not good at all, Yildirim. Lorenzo says Yildirim was mandatory for the belt. Fight was needed to become undisputed. Yeah, he was a mandatory, wasn't he? So he had to fight him. At least we have Jake Paul v Tyron Woodley in August. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that, to be honest. I don't even want to know how he popped. PBC, protecting boxers from Canelo. Lol. Saunders as well. I think he is retiring after that eye fracture. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Has he said that? I think Saunders will come back, to be honest. I think Saunders will fight on, personally. I think Saunders will definitely fight on. GG only fighting bums lately. Yeah, well, hopefully, he's fighting Murata, ain't he? So hopefully we get a good show there. Isaac Bermuda says, if Jamal or David Benavidez fought Yildirim, they would be considered pound for pound. Lol. But yeah, man. Guys, if you want to come on. I'd love for you guys to come on. I'm going to post the link again. Any of you want to come on, jump on. Jump on, guys. And keep those questions coming through. Okay. Jay says, top 5 pound for pound. 1 Canelo, 2 AJ, 3 Errol, 4 Inoue, 5 Tyson. What do you think, Imran? No, I wouldn't put AJ number 2. I wouldn't put Tyson number 5. For me, I'd go Canelo, Crawford, Inoue, Errol, Tiafimo, and then probably Josh Taylor. And I'd probably go down that way. I think AJ number 2 is a bit far-fetched. I don't know why. Why do you have AJ number 2 or Tyson number 5? What's the deal with GGG? Very disappointed after being a huge fan. I don't know what's going on with GGG. Well, he's gonna fight. What's his name? Murata, isn't he? He's gonna fight Murata. So hopefully, we get a good fight there. Well, that's a unification fight, and then hopefully, he can fight some of the top guys after that. That's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping. Hoping he can fight some of the top guys. So Jose Sanchez says, Imran, what's your take on Floyd fighting guys like Logan Paul and Conor McGregor when Manny is still fighting the best of the best? Well, Floyd is retired. He's just looking to make some money. And Manny's obviously still an active fighter. So that's the difference there. I think that one guy is retired, one guy is still active. So I think that's what it is there. Errol not even boxing for a year. Not even boxing for a year. Well, he fought. When was the last time Errol fought? Errol fought. He fought Danny Garcia in December. So yeah, now he's going to be out for a while with that eye injury. I believe GGG is waiting on that Canelo retirement check, possibly. Gusto, you're probably right. He probably is, and I think most of them are waiting for Canelo. To be honest with you, not just GGG, and that's the problem with boxing. GGG is aging. What's going on? Yeah, he is. He is aging. He's aging fast. He's 40 now, isn't he? He's touching 40. So, GGG needs to get a move on. Guys, everyone in the live stream, if you can smash that like button. I forgot to ask you, smash that like button. Whoever's in the live stream, guys, give that like button a smash. I'd appreciate if you smash that like button. The more you smash the like button, the better it is for the channel. Smash that like button. So Jay says, resume and inactivity for AJ, but it's just my opinion. Also, did not put Crawford because he fights 1 time a year and it's low level up. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your you're definitely entitled to, have someone there. Pound for pound is subjective, isn't it? So it's who you think is the best. It's all subjective, really. There's no right or wrong answer, personally. GGG is basically Pacquiao's age. Well, he's a bit younger, isn't he? He's a bit younger, isn't he? Than Pacquiao. But his competition, like GGG's competition throughout majority of his career has not been at a very high level now. It's not been his fault because he's been avoided. But nevertheless, you know, you'd expect GGG to be at a much higher level than what he's currently been fighting at. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing with GGG because we expect more from somebody of his stature. We expect more from somebody like GGG, but you know, unfortunately, his resume hasn't been the greatest. We expect a lot more from him, to be honest. So Kamek Ozzy says, Imran, prime Canelo v Ward. That's a hard one, man. I'd have to slightly edge towards Ward, but Canelo is a monster. And if Canelo goes on to beat Beterbiev and Bivol, you know, I might change my opinion there. But Ward was a great fighter, man. Ward was special. There's no doubt about it. He was he's for me one of the best at super middleweight in a very, very long time. And he may have beaten everybody. He may have even beaten Calzaghe. He may have beaten all of the guys. So yeah, Ward was special, man. You know, Ward was something, he was something special without doubt. There's no doubt about it. Ward was one of the best. No question. So yeah, what do you think, Kamek, Ozzy? What do you think? Do you think he would beat Ward? Do you think he beats Ward? I'm not sure. Jose Sanchez said, why do people still push for GGG to fight the top guys? He's clearly not what he used to be. Because Pacquiao's still fighting the top guys, and he's clearly not what he used to be. Yeah, so GGG, hopefully, for me, he can still become undisputed. If he fights the best, he can still become undisputed without question. Hi there, says Yildirim, can fight GGG, but wow, that guy got a free ride to the Millionaires Club. Yeah, he did. I'd have to agree with you there. That GGG, I mean, sorry, Yildirim, he definitely got a free ride, man. The millionaire he got rich unnecessarily. You know, he didn't even deserve those opportunities, but you know, the mandatory put him there, put him in that position. He ended up becoming a rich guy. You know, he's sorted. Yildirim, Pac-Man, true king of boxing. You know, you're definitely a Pacquiao. He's definitely one of the greats without question. Rene De Leon says Canelo GG3 will still be a great fight. Don't sleep on him. Yep, no one's sleeping on GGG. Still a great fighter, but Canelo would be favorite in that now. So David Hayes making his comeback after billionaire mate Joe Foreigner on the De La Hoya v Belfort undercard. This fight will definitely be fixed. Man, it's all becoming a bit of a joke now. Everyone's coming out of retirement and fighting. It's all going off. It's all going off. If Canelo beats Bivol and Beterbiev at 175, then he'll definitely beat Ward. Styles make fights, but yeah, I think you'd have to see how he gets on with those guys. Andre Ward is overrated. He's a good fighter, but all that time, 168 was not great, not all that great. And he did not collect all the belts, maybe because of his injuries. Well, he beat everybody that was there, and he cleaned up the whole division, really, when you think about it. You know, he beat everybody. There wasn't anyone Andre Ward ducked at 168. So I think Ward was great. You know, was the competition that great? It was okay. It wasn't special, but he did what he had to do. He cleaned it up. Jose Lopez says Ward was scared of those Canadian guys. I forgot their names. Canadian guys. Name me those Canadian guys that he was afraid of. Trout maybe, or you mean Stevenson? Trout may be moving down to 147. Yeah, I saw that. Trout, I don't know how he'd make 147, to be honest. How would Trout make 147? Trout's a big guy. You know, that I don't know at this age as well. I remember a few years ago he was calling out Amir Khan for a fight at 147. But I don't think that I don't know. I don't know why Trout wants to come and fight at 147. I think he's too big. What's going on, EK? You well?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. What have you made of the Errol Spence yesterday? We did a live stream yesterday, and Errol Spence, EK, was getting a lot of criticism. People saying he's ducked him, this, that, and the other. He's scared. Errol Spence has suffered the last couple of days, suffered a lot of stick. What have you made of it?
I mean, it was expected people would say that, but like it's obviously not true because like he's fighting top competition for a bit now. I think this is everyone wants to fight Pacquiao in that division because like Pacquiao's out. He's a very few living legends in the sport, like like all-time great. So everyone's after him. Like I don't think he was ducking. If anything, like you can tell he wasn't ducking because after like that life tragedy, like he had a huge car crash and he fought Danny Garcia. He didn't have a tune-up fight. He didn't do anything. So like if he was ducking, he would have like 3 or 4 tune-up fights. Like a lot of different things. But like I think people are just like being trolls. It's nothing to.
Yeah. Do you think he'll be the same after that eye injury that he suffered? Because he suffered a tear to his retina, which is quite a serious
hopefully,
injury.
but like no one can really know. Like I'm not a doctor or anything, and I don't know how severe I'm pretty sure there's like level of severity on each personal case. I don't know. Like hopefully he's well. If not, like hopefully he has other businesses and like because life in boxing is very short lived sometimes.
Yeah. OG MXB says Ward retired to duck Bivol and Beterbiev. What do you make of that?
Was Bivol even a known name when Ward was fighting? Do you think?
Not sure, man. I'm not
Beterbiev?
sure. I don't think those guys were that. That must have been ages ago.
Yeah,
That must have been.
I don't even know what year did Ward
Ward
retire?
retired. Ward retired in 2017, I believe, when he beat Kovalev the second time.
Yeah, and Ward had like 40 fights, and Beterbiev right now has 16 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So like Beterbiev was just starting off, so I don't think maybe he was just starting when he retired. It's not like
fair
like
enough.
That.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. So Austin Trout's moving down to 147, right? What do you make of him? I think he's looking for that Crawford fight, according to Ray. What do you think of that? Austin Trout's a good fighter, ain't he?
Yeah, he's good, but like I don't know, like I think Crawford needs better
competition.
Like he needs like Porter. He shouldn't be thinking about anything else right now. Like his mind should be on Porter, and that's it.
You think he needs a better competition than someone like
Austin Trout's been like beaten. He's been like, like it's not the prime. Like he Terrence Crawford at 147 needs a good opponent, and I think Austin Trout's an okay opponent for Crawford, but not great like Porter or something.
Right. So do you think Austin Trout? Do you think he could be a success at 147? Because I don't know if he's ever fought at 147. He's quite a big dude, Austin Trout. So I know a few years ago he was calling out Amir Khan, wasn't he? Trout. He was calling out Khan for a fight. He wanted to fight Amir Khan. So what do you make of Trout moving to 147?
I'll be honest. I thought I didn't even know he was fighting like still. So I thought he was retired or something. So I'm not too sure. But like I feel like if he can make the weight and it's like not too draining, I don't know. I think all the top guys, maybe except for I think all top guys would beat him at 147.
What about Austin Trout against Keith Thurman?
Keith Thurman, wow. Yeah, I think that would be a pretty good fight because both of them are not active. I don't know. Keith Thurman hasn't been active, so maybe that would be a good fight for Trout.
Keith Thurman last fought EK. He last fought against Manny Pacquiao, which was almost over 2 years ago, and he's still not got no fight scheduled. What do you make of Keith Thurman's career, and do you think he's wasted his last couple of years in the sport of boxing?
To be honest, Keith Thurman's resume is great. Like he has everyone on his resume: Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, all the top guys except for Spence, and he even fought Manny Pacquiao. So like I feel like he's just one of those athletes that like helps reoccurrence like injuries on his hands, surgeries. It's just like, he did the best he could when he was on top, and right now, I don't think like he is going to be able to compete at the top level because like all the injuries he's gone through, and like it's been
The
2 years.
inactivity that he suffered. He's
Yeah, yeah,
too
and
inactive, ain't he? Too
yeah,
inactive.
because of his injuries, and I just don't think he's going to be able to compete in the top with the top guys. Like I'm pretty sure he beat. Like, I mean, he did beat Porter, but if they were to fight again, like Porter would win because Porter's been way more active and like
Keith.
everything like that. So would Danny Garcia.
So I want to ask you a question. No KP says Brook v Khan. I don't think Brook will fold like the Crawford fight. I think the hate will fuel him. Can see him controlling the fight with the jab, then the KO. Crawford fight, he was controlling it till then. What do you make of it? What he said
Well, I
there?
think Crawford fight, like they were both just waiting for someone to do something because they both were trying to counter each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It wasn't like he was controlling Crawford. Crawford were just being too patient. Like he was just waiting for the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think Brook or Khan could win that fight. It's a very 50-50 fight. Like Khan could get knocked out, or Brook, like his face could break again. Like we don't know what's gonna happen. Like whatever gives first, will give first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're both like not what they were, and it just depends literally what they have left. Whoever has more left will win.
Right, okay. What's going on, Dusty? You good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How y'all doing today?
All
Yo,
good,
Imran, I gotta leave. You guys have a great day. Peace.
cheers, man. Take care, EK.
All right, peace, guys.
Take care, take care. So, Dusty, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm
Good,
all
good,
right.
good hearing from you, man. Good hearing from you. What have you made in the Spence is getting a lot of criticism from the fans about saying a lot of fans saying he's ducking Pacquiao, this, that, and the other. Have you been seeing it online and social media and stuff? And what have you made of it?
Yeah, I've been seeing it. It's just kind of like we can just either mark it off to an injury or,
Mm,
the criticism. I know I was going kind of hard in on it yesterday because I felt like that's something that needed to happen. That fight needed to happen. It would have been good for the sport of boxing. And
mm,
but I still kind of stand like it's just weird, a retina
mm,
injury is not something, when you get a when you get a hair follicle or something like that on your eye,
mm,
a piece of hair, you can feel it scratching no matter what. So
mm,
a retina is something that's more serious than that. So you know that something is wrong with your eye. It's
mm,
not a it's not like a doctor or the commission has to find out and say, "Oh, we found this," even though you didn't notice it. No,
mm,
you know something's wrong with your eye, and maybe he was gonna
mm,
try to fight through it. But however, it could be for promotion, it could be for all of that. But right now, we just got to take it as what it is and just say, hey, the fight's not gonna happen with them right now, and get well soon. Hopefully, it's nothing too much where it just takes you all the way out the sport of boxing.
mm. What if he suffered a retina injury, obviously that's considered a very serious injury to boxers. Um, do you think do you think he's gonna be the same after that?
Um, no, not really. Most eye injuries in general are kind of career ending. Even when Kell Brook came back after his eye was very badly damaged, he was never fighting the same to me after that. He was never fighting the same. He was fighting kind of scared, and as soon as he would get touched in it and all of that, he was falling. Margarito, the same thing.
Mm,
Um, Now I think there's a few other I'm not naming, but most eye injuries are pretty severe. They're pretty bad. If he does come back
mm,
from it, that's a true fighter. Most boxers, when they get a real good eye injury, they're
mm,
never really the same. And plus, he has the car accident on top of that, which um,
oh,
look, I like Earl, but I do notice he has slurred speech sometimes. Like his speech is slowed all the way
yeah.
down, and
Mm,
it's different little things. Like he could still fight, don't get me wrong, but do I feel like he was fighting the same fight he fought with Danny versus Mikey? Do I feel like
mm,
he was as fast on his toes as with Danny versus Mikey? To Danny, he was just pummeling him. To Mikey, he was putting him and staying away and outboxing him and stuff all the way.
Mm.
But I just
I
don't
do
feel like
notice that though. I do notice that about Spence. The slurred speech and that he's quite. But then I've seen some of his old interviews, and he comes across he's just a bit slow like that. That's how he is. You know what I mean? That's how he comes across. He comes across a little slow. Like that, where he's just generally a bit slow with his speech.
got
So
that southern slang.
yeah, like he's a bit slow. Like it's slower. Like where he's kind of has slow speech. I don't think it's anything to do with him being slurring in his words. But then I don't know, because I've seen some of his old interviews and he's been like that as well. So yeah, I don't know, man. Miguel, how are you?
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good. Nice seeing you, man.
I'm seeing you too. I'm here from Santa Barbara, California, following you for a few weeks already. And I like your comments. Everything that you say, you go neutral and everything. And but the injury on Spence, if it's really an injury about his eyes, uh, I believe that his career could be over. If you remember back in the day, I believe it was Ray Leonard had that type of injury too. The same,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
retina, and he retired after that.
He
So
fought one
that's
fight after
it.
that, but
Well,
3 years
yeah,
later.
of course, yeah, of
But 3 years
course,
later,
but still, but it's a very dangerous injury, right? Especially on the retina. I mean,
Yeah.
any punch right on the eye, you can really go blind.
Yeah.
It will detach again, and that's a very delicate injury. And I've been seeing on the internet that now that he's faking it. I don't know uh, why people say those kind of things, those kind of rumors. You got to have the facts. How can you fake an injury like that? I don't think he's afraid of Pacquiao. Okay, if it really happened, it happened. It's tough luck. And I hope he
Yeah.
can recuperate. I hope he gets recuperates very well. Hopefully, he fights Pacquiao. But the way things look, I doubt it. Seriously. And going back on Canelo too. Plant. Having the what do you call those comments about Canelo. Canelo is not afraid of fighting him, not whatsoever. Whatever happened in the negotiations that made Canelo back off of that offer. Canelo is only the one he only knows. You got Plant talking all this crap, but he still hasn't have no proof to back it up.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
you gotta think about those things. I mean, if you're gonna tackle that crap, prove it. That's why Canelo's not saying anything. But I hope they fight in November, and Canelo is not gonna have no mercy on this guy.
How do you
He
see that
might
fight
think
going?
he's. I'm sorry.
How do you see that fight going with Canelo and Plant?
Oh, Canelo. I think Canelo will punish him. Honestly, for the first 5, 6 rounds, and then he's gonna wear him out, and he's gonna knock him out.
Do you
I
think it's a
believe
tougher
that.
fight than Mexico?
You know what? That I look at his last fight on Plant. He didn't show nothing. To me, number. I mean, for a lot of years, my father was a boxer. You back in his day, and
Fair enough.
so Plant. I don't see him top 10 fighter. To be honest with you, not even Benavides. I think Benavides will walk all over him. He might be slick and fast, but how long would that last?
Mm. He's got no
You know what I'm
power.
saying? Has no power, you know.
Mm.
And and the way he fights like when he throws punches, he doesn't throw punches with intentions. You
Mm.
know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He throws soft punches. You
Mm.
know, Canelo will just eat him up, honestly. And Canelo is, I'm pretty
Mm.
sure he's watching or listening to all those things that Plant is saying about him, and that will matter.
Mm.
He's gonna go out there. He's just gonna talk with his fist. Canelo is not a much of a talker, as you know,
Mm.
right? So
You
I
know, I
believe
personally,
if it, I'm sorry,
I was gonna say, sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, personally, I believe that sometimes we put fighters get in a situation like Plant and Canelo. Plant,
Right.
I like Plant. I like Plant. Do I think he's in the same class as Canelo? Absolutely not. He's not there yet. He's nowhere near that. But sometimes these fighters start picking the wrong battle, or their promoters put them in different situations where we start kind of looking at the certain fighters like, well, this fighter ain't shit. But it's because the promoters are putting them with people they're not classed with, that they shouldn't even be fighting yet. For Plant to duck somebody like Canelo right now, that would be perfect. He shouldn't even be fighting that man. He'd probably get himself killed in the ring with Canelo. And that's just like, that's more of a fact. It's like this dude, Canelo, somebody that will end your career as a boxer. Like, he's not in the same class. Plant maybe should be fighting somebody like, I don't know. What about one of these Charlo brothers that they keep that they hold so highly, and everybody speaks so highly of, but they're getting little
The-
gimmies and still can't do anything with these people that they're getting put in front of them.
True, but any of the Shiloh brothers will go to 168.
Hell no. Yeah, they won't do that.
Exactly, exactly.
What
You
about
know,
Yeah.
Andrade, Miguel? What about
I'm
Andrade?
sorry,
What about Andrade?
Andre.
Andrade?
He's. I don't like his style, honestly.
Mm.
I don't think he has what it takes. He hasn't fought anybody that it can give him any problems.
Mm.
Okay, and Andre just honestly, I just don't like his style. I just don't like his boxing, and I
Mm.
think he doesn't have the stamina to last 12 rounds.
Mm.
But if he fights Canelo, if it goes to 168,
Mm.
Canelo would just eat him up,
Mm. What
basically.
about Benavides?
Canelo is Benavides, he's flat footer. He
Mm.
stands right there and he leaves himself wide open to the body. And
Mm.
Canelo is good going to the body, as you know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Canelo can wants to study him to see what he
Mm.
has, and it's going to go after him.
Mm.
I like Benavides. Don't get me wrong, but
Mm.
he leaves himself wide open to body shots,
Yeah, yeah.
to any kind of uppercut or any kind of hooks. Okay, and
Mm.
Canelo has a good defense.
Mm. Mm.
And if you've seen, since he fought Floyd Mayweather, his defense has improved a lot to
Mm.
Canelo's. It's hard to hit him.
Mm. Mm.
And but like I said, the Child brothers, I don't think they're gonna go 168 with Plant. And
Mm.
Plant, I don't think it has what it takes,
Mm.
honestly. But I hope they will fight in November.
Mm.
Hopefully they don't have no problems going on the contracts, and I hope
Mm.
he accepts the fight because he
Mm.
already ducked him two times already.
Mm. Mm.
If you think about that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Canelo, hey, come on, I'm coming, my friend. But
Mm.
Plant knew about it since May.
Mm.
Canelo called him out,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So he has plenty of time to prepare.
Mm.
All right. If he's always talking about him being in the gym 7 days a week, preparing for any fight. Well, there was Canelo. What happened then?
Mm-hmm. What did you make
Whatever
of
happened then?
Canelo's last performance? Canelo's last
I'm
performance
sorry,
against, Canelo's last performance against Billy Joe. What
Billy
did you make
Joe.
of? Yeah.
I give 2 rounds to Billy Joe. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but Canelo was testing him. He was hitting him in the body a lot. Not a lot, but he was hitting him constantly.
Mm-hmm.
He was hurting him. You can see him slowing down,
Mm-hmm.
and also Canelo was starting him. He was checking, and as you can see, Billy Joe, when he was throwing a punch up, he was ducking, and
Mm-hmm.
Canelo was seeing that. In quite in 3 or 4 rounds, he was seeing that until he caught him, and he
Mm-hmm.
broke his eye socket. And now
Mm-hmm.
where's Billy Joe Saunders?
Yeah.
And that's a career-ended injury for
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
love.
So, and I don't think it's coming back. It's just going to stay out there. Yeah, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it's going to fight anymore,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. So yeah, like I said, Canelo, he's one of the best, and I don't think it's going to be a long time to see another Canelo
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's a beast. I
Yeah.
mean, he's in the gym. He's out there. I mean, he just going at it.
Mm-hmm.
This guy times a year if he wants to, but
Mm-hmm.
Canelo is the best I ever seen as a Mexican fighter, and I'm from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And Julio Cesar Chavez is up there, but
Mm-hmm.
Canelo is just a different,
Level. Yeah.
different, a way different level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
He's
don't get me
versatile.
wrong, Chavez did a good thing for boxing too, but he was never as prepared as Canelo
Mm-hmm.
Canelo is, and he still is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, like I said, Chavez passed the torch to Canelo in his last fight.
Mm-hmm.
And Canelo appreciates that.
Fair enough.
And I think Canelo has another 7 more years, and it's gonna be hard to beat him.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Beterbiev?
That's my.
Do you think Beterbiev is going to be a problem? He's big and strong.
Well, he can be big and strong, but can he take a punch from Canelo?
Hmm.
You got to look at that way too.
Mm-hmm.
And Canelo, I think, is more prepared. Is more of a boxer puncher than is Beterbiev. Beterbiev, don't get me wrong, is the same age as Canelo. Am I right? Is it 30,
No, he's
30 or
older. He's
31?
older. He's older.
Who is that? Canelo by
Yeah,
1 year,
30,
right?
no. Beterbiev's 36.
Oh, 36.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought he was younger. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, yeah, Beterbiev, he's a strong fighter, but I don't think it will last with Canelo. Honestly, Canelo will knock him out probably in the 8th, 9th round, or maybe he can go through a decision. But
Mm-hmm.
Canelo is just too good of a fighter for Beterbiev.
Fair enough.
So
Dusty, do you
so
agree?
that's. Is he there?
Dusty, you there? No, he's not. I think he's not there.
No.
Yeah, I didn't hear the last
Do
part. I was
you?
going through some technical difficulties over here.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
Do you think Beterbiev's a problem for Canelo?
No,
No.
I don't think anyone, honestly, at this moment in time is a. I don't think anyone at this moment in time is a problem for Canelo. Honestly,
So
um,
who do you think is his toughest test?
um,
gee.
uh, as much as I would hate to say it, I'm gonna say Andrade. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and just because of Andrade's horrible style will
Mm-hmm.
probably gain certain points from the refs or whatever, unless until Canelo knocks him out or something. I hate his style. I don't think that he's I think who was his fight where he fought somebody that had just got hit by a car, had to learn how to walk again, and was getting rocked and
Oh,
wobbled.
Jacobs.
Yeah.
No, hit by a car.
Yeah, one of his opponents, man, one of the recent ones.
Oh,
he had been
Andre.
hit by yeah.
Who did he fight
And
recently? Selecki. He fought Luke Keeler. He fought Williams.
is it Williams? There was one of them they had got hit by a car recently and had to learn how to walk again. And they were still giving Andrade a lot of problems.
Cotton Dockwell. I don't know. He's fought. Those are the guys that he's fought recently.
And I need to go look at my notes and stuff.
But either way, what? Yeah, go on.
But his style, Andrade's style, is just like it's like he always has his back all the way turned to the opponent for the most part, like his back shoulder all the way. It's just a very weird style, and I see it only being problems when it comes to maybe some points on the cards and stuff, and for Canelo being able to touch his face. Outside of that, I don't think it's a problem for Canelo. I don't see anybody really giving Canelo a good test out there right now.
Fair enough. Miguel, do you think Canelo's going to move up to cruiserweight? Go on. Sorry, Dusty. Were you saying something?
Cruiserweight. Who's there in cruiserweight that they can give him problems to Canelo?
There's
exactly
guys that are big, huge guys.
Yeah, but I don't think Canelo will go to cruiserweight. To be honest with you, he will stay at 175. Probably he's going to get the 4 titles at 175 after he finished with Plant, if he fights Plant. You know, because Canelo can carry that weight up to 175.
To be
honest with you. And he's,
maybe,
go ahead.
Benavidez?
Oh, Benavidez. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good matchup.
He hasn't fought Benavidez.
Yeah. I know. I think that'll be a good matchup.
Oh, yeah. It would be.
Yeah, it will be a good match for Canelo. Yes. But I think Canelo beating him. You know, probably with the 6-7 rounds. So talking about Benavidez, did you hear about he got COVID? That his fight was canceled now.
Yeah. His fight's been canceled. Yeah. It's disappointing.
So, yeah.
What did you make of it, Miguel? What did you make of Pacquiao's fight being canceled? Were you upset?
You know, not really. Honestly, you know, Pacquiao is Pacquiao. You know? And I wasn't disappointed, to be honest with you. Yeah, I was looking forward to it, but it is what it is, you know. And I like what you said about the comments on Canelo about his $40 million guarantee in case somebody gets injured or sick. You know, that's a good point. You know, and
should have had.
Yeah, you know, if a Plant really wanted to fight Canelo, he should agree with that. Honestly, let's go do it. You know, he was always claiming, "Hey, I'm waiting for you, Canelo. Come on, Canelo." You know, he was always saying that. Well, there was Canelo, and what happened? You know, they didn't accept his, you know, Canelo's conditions. I mean, Canelo is you know, he's pay-per-view king. You know, he's gonna demand whatever he's gonna demand, if you like it or not.
That's not even really a demand. That's just reasonable. That's
honestly, yes, true.
That's what it should have been in the Pacquiao fight in the first place. He should have had something in place just in case they try to just in case something like this happens. Just in case Maidana's little brother gets the same eye injury out of nowhere, or injures his eye and can't fight at the same time. You know, it's just
they could have put it in a clause right there in the contract. Yeah,
you're still gonna get your guaranteed pay.
Exactly.
Because now you got a 42-year-old man risking his health fighting somebody that shouldn't even have
Young.
his belt right now. And Ugas is
Right.
clearly, I like Ugas, don't get me wrong. He's cool, but he's nowhere near the class. I mean, his last fight that he fought was less than pleasant. It was pretty horrible. He was gassed out in the 8th or ninth round or whatever. Even when he fought Porter, he was getting hit by some real blows and stuff and swinging wild. Uga's last fight, he tried to swing so hard he almost threw himself out the ring. You know, just sloppy stuff where it says you're not in this class. You're not up to this level yet. You shouldn't be fighting this man. I
You
think
know,
the same
especially
thing Pacquiao did to Margarito is going to be the exact same thing that happens to Ugas.
right. No, you're
And I
right
don't
about
think
that.
there's any way around it. Honestly, it's just he's not in that class.
Yeah, and it's plus
Um,
too short. You know, it's. I mean, what is it? 10 days from now, the fight.
Mhm.
yeah, and then on
See,
management, who allows their fighter to do that? I mean,
uh,
the disrespect to Pacquiao is you got 5 days to get ready for somebody else.
exactly.
You
You know,
have 5 days to get ready for a total different opponent and everything. Like that's at
that
the
is that
championship for a belt.
that is a
You've been
crazy
training.
thing to do.
I mean,
Yes,
nobody else. If that was Spence, that wouldn't be happening. They would have just canceled it or something like that to come be fighting and putting yourself all the way on the line 5 days to fight a total different opponent. You know, everybody else, even like Ruiz, he had what, like a month, to get ready as last
yeah,
minute and stuff like that, you know?
yeah, and look what happened. But at least that
Mhm.
was a month, right? At least that was a month to be prepared. To be honest with you, he took the chance, and you look what happened, right? But
Mhm.
this guy, he only has what 5, 10 days. I
Yeah.
mean, that's. I think they only won it because of the probably the payday. It's going to get good pay, and probably it's probably going to be recognized, because it's going to be a pay-per-view event. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
They
so
need
he
to
wants to
change
be there.
that.
There, yeah, he wants to be in the spotlight. But being in the spotlight, like
Hmm.
you know,
He was on the
it,
undercard though, anyway, so it's not like he wasn't supposed to fight. He was on the undercard, Ugas.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
fighting
still.
for against
I mean,
Maidana's little brother. Just total
Hmm.
different.
yeah, yeah, actually, especially
It's not
against
like he.
Pacquiao.
What I mean is he's physically fit enough. You know what I mean? He was going through camp, so it's not like he's
Yeah,
completely, been brought off the settee or the sofa and been like, "Yo, you're fighting in 10 days," which would have been horrific. But at least he's in shape.
yeah, he's in shape. But you're talking about Pacquiao. It's a different type of
Mm.
boxing style.
A different type of shape
You
you
know,
need to be in.
Ex- exactly. So I wish him the best, but I don't think it's gonna last. To be honest with you,
Mm.
it's
Mm.
just too soon. He's not well prepared for Pacquiao.
Fair
You
enough.
know,
And
it is good promotion because we're gonna get to see.
true,
It's kind of like I spoke on yesterday. We're gonna get to see the type of fight that puts asses in seats again. When they see how badly damaged this dude Ugas gets when he steps out the ring after that fight, it's gonna be bad. It's not like if you just watch him and watch his movements and what he does. It's like he's very stationary. He's
true.
classic. He's classic. It's like I like to say textbook Mikey or textbook Danny. He's he's got a classic style for the most part. He's very stationary. He's not the best when it comes to speed or counterpunching, and it just looks kind of diabolical about the ass whooping that he's about to take.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah,
And
you're
no
right.
disrespect to all my Cubans out there, but
Mm.
Yeah,
gotta call a spade a spade.
exactly. So
But
I tell you, you know,
I mean, what do you guys on the undercard of the fight now?
I don't really to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to the undercard at all. It's all about the main event, really.
yeah, exactly. Me too. I don't even know who was on the undercard. To be honest with you.
I knew Ugas was there, but that's about it, really. Ugas was fighting
Yeah,
Maidana, but that's it. Um, But to be honest with you, I'm more interested. I was more interested in the main event, Spence v Pacquiao. That was a. Who do you think would have won that fight, Miguel? Who do you think, Spence or Pacquiao?
You know, I will go for Spence, honestly. Younger
Mm,
and faster,
mm,
and it has the height compared to Pacquiao.
mm,
And
mm,
I believe that Pacquiao will have a hard time, getting in there, getting it inside to do any damage against Spence.
mm, mm.
Yeah, and I will go, Spence, 12 rounds.
Decision.
That's about it. Decision, right?
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people seem to be picking Spence, although there was a lot of
yeah,
people picking Pacquiao as well. But I think that's a lot of
yeah,
people. There's a lot of fans.
yeah. He does, of course. Pacquiao is a well-known fighter, and
Yeah, yeah.
but Spence, it's younger, faster, taller, and he knows how to keep his distance from
Mm,
Pacquiao. You know, but too bad that we don't get to see it
mm.
because of the eye
DS,
injury.
DS. What do you make of it? What did you think would have happened prior to the like? What was your prediction? Spence v Pacquiao.
Um, like I said before, I like Spence a lot.
Mm,
Um, but everything I'm on the opposite side of the field with everything that I just heard. I believe Pacquiao is faster, except of course Spence is taller and a bigger guy, much bigger guy, much taller guy. But I mean, Pacquiao is a lot faster. He still has strength in both of his hands, as we've seen with the Thurman fight. He has a lot of head movement, a whole lot of head movement, and I don't believe Spence has ever fought anybody with as much movement that Pacquiao has. Spence keeps his head on the line a lot, meaning he doesn't move his head around a lot to dodge a lot of punches. He gets hit with certain shots from some fighters that he shouldn't even be getting hit by. Um, he's gonna be he's a pressure fighter at different times, which is really good. But a pressure fighter is kind of tailor made toward Pacquiao. He likes
mm,
when people are moving and coming forward. He always does his best when most fighters are coming forward. He has more problems when other fighters are moving backwards and then they end up hitting them with a stiff jab and a straight and different things like that when they're fighting off their back foot and he keeps coming forward at him.
mm,
Um, but as far as Spence being able to keep his distance with his jab and different things like that, yeah, he can do that. He can do that, but they both Pacquiao definitely has a good range fighter and knows how to get around the jab. I mean, we've seen it a lot. Um, we've seen it a lot in multiple fights. He has more ring IQ. He has more knowledge and veteran know-how. The only thing to me Spence would have had in his favor was the youth. The youth, because
Yep.
the bigger man has never been a problem for Pac-Man, even when they start trying to bully him around, because he loves that type of fight. When they bully him around and stuff, like he loves that exchanging, having the heart to come back out there and do something, the will to keep going on. The
mm,
bigger man has never really been a problem for Pacquiao.
mm,
So
mm.
I think it would have been one of the greatest fights in boxing history, honestly.
Mm. If Pacquiao had won that, where do you think that would have ranked in terms of great wins?
The greatest, to me, probably the greatest. I didn't like
Better
the
than Ali
Mayweather.
Foreman.
Say again.
Better than Ali Foreman.
Uh, man, I have to go with the generations, man. That I've been living in, man. Ollie Foreman, that was great. Their matchups were great, but we're talking about Pac-Man and Spence. Pac-Man being 42 years old, still showing and putting it all on the line, fighting against a prime youngster that has the skill and has what it takes. I mean, I think I can't say which would have been greater. I can't say which one of them would have been greater. But to
Mm,
me, I know it would have been one of the greatest fights of all time.
mm,
For me,
mm,
Pacquiao Spence with replay value. that people will replay and watch for years and years to come.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it would have been a great fight, man. It's just sad that it's not happening, but you know, it would have been great. You're right.
It sucks.
Yeah, it could have been
I'm
in the
out here
top
in
20.
Vegas. I was planning on going to the fight.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's sad. It's sad, man. It was yesterday, the news was really bad. It was really bad because like it affected a lot of fans because the fans were looking forward to it was the biggest fight of the year for me. And it just got cancelled, man. It got cancelled. It was everyone was so intrigued, but it just got cancelled. It really, yeah, it wasn't good yesterday. It wasn't good. But that's boxing, man. It happens.
Yeah, it does, but it's just the build up behind it. It was the build up. It was the first, like, there's different fishy things that started going on. It's like they started saying, oh, the fight might not end up happening because Pacquiao's probably going to get COVID because he's around all these different people and he loves the fans and he's going to let the fans cost him the fight. That didn't happen, but a week later, something else happened, which is bad eye injury. Well, don't even know how bad it is yet, but it's bad enough to call the fight off. And if it's that bad where they call the fight off and say it needs immediate surgery, that's something that that has been there. It didn't just happen. That's what I don't understand. Like that, it's like so many times people can put a wool down right in front of your eyes, but at some point in time, you have to be like, hey, you guys are insulting my intelligence. Like this is like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that, hey, this shit right here was prolonged, it was already there, or it's not there. It's one or the other.
I want to ask Miguel, I want to ask you a question about Canelo and Ward. Who do you think would have won that fight?
Whoa.
Andre Ward.
What?
Oof. That's a toss-up, to be honest with you. That's a toss-up. 50-50. You know, War is a good fighter too. There's no doubt of it.
If you had to bet on one of them, who would you bet on?
You know, being from Mexico, man, I would go with Canelo, honestly.
Yeah.
But it still is a 50-50. I will bet on Canelo, but it was still a 50-50.
Dusty?
To be honest with you.
Yep.
Canelo and Andre Ward.
Canelo and Andre Ward. Canelo.
Why? Why? You said it very quickly. Why do you think Canelo?
Training, skill, the amount of fights he's been doing, his dedication to what he's been doing and demolishing everybody. I mean, Canelo. As I don't see anybody being a real problem for him again, unless it's and I don't even have to be from Mexico to say this. Like, he's just not somebody that I just see losing like that. That's not even that's not. I mean, it's not really logical to go with anybody else.
Fair enough.
I mean, when was his last? What was he? He fought Kovalev and what? He fought Kovalev in what? Last year or 2 years ago or a couple? Yeah, last year.
2 years ago.
What was it in November?
We're talking prime though. We're talking prime though. Prime Andre Ward. Not now. We're talking prime.
So prime Ward versus a prime Canelo.
Yeah.
Canelo.
You still think Canelo beats him?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's like Canelo's prime has lasted a lot longer than everybody else's prime.
Okay, let me. Bobby's made a comment here. What about the fans who buy ringside tickets that cost $40,000 each? Now it's Ugas and not Spence anymore. What do you guys make of that?
They get their
Oh
money
well,
back.
they
No, they
do.
get their money back. That's not a that's not how the ticket sales and promotion goes. People that spent a whole lot of money and then they change from 40,000 to $6,000 seats and stuff like that. They get
Mm.
their money back. They
Right.
don't there's nothing that says, hey, this may change at the last second and your boxer might not be Manny Pacquiao anymore. It might
Mm.
be Javante
Somebody
Davis
else.
versus Rolly.
Mm. So is that set in stone? They get their money back then, Dusty?
They get their money back.
Yeah.
I've had refunds before.
Do you think some of them will still go because of the fact that it's Manny Pacquiao still fighting?
Yes, because I'm still gonna go. I mean, I'm not sitting ringside, but I'm still going to
Mm.
go
Yeah. Fair enough.
because
Well, that's why you're disappointed because you were gonna go. You wanted to see Spence Pacquiao. You were going to it.
man, it would have been my first Pacquiao fight ever in life, man, and
What a fight as well.
would have been a great matchup during the time, and the undercard was looking a lot better because I really wanted to see what Maidana's little brother could really do too.
Mm.
And I think Ugas would have been a good matchup for him.
Mm.
But as far as and I wanted to see what the Casemiro kid was looking like.
Yeah. Casemiro, yeah, he was fighting as well.
But now that's shit. I don't even know what they're gonna replace everything with. They need
What
to
do you
have
make
Roland
of,
fight on the undercard now with Tank Davis.
Dusty? What do you make of Virgil Ortiz and Velasquez? They're fighting this week. Who do you think wins that?
I'm not sure. Up in the air. Probably Ortiz, but up in the air. I still got a little studying to do on it.
Miguel, have you seen Virgil Ortiz?
I seen him twice. I go for Ortiz.
Yeah, Ortiz he's a good fighter, ain't he? Ortiz.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so I think Ortiz will probably knock him out. I think Ortiz will stop Velasquez. I think Velasquez is a good fighter, but he gave Crawford a decent fight. But Crawford against Ortiz. Do you think it's too early for Ortiz, Dusty?
Yeah, I think Crawford should be fighting. That's a hard one, man. I think Crawford should be fighting somebody else. Maybe too early for Ortiz.
Yeah.
Like Crawford. Okay, damn. How can I say this? We don't want it to be like this. But Crawford is I like him. I think he has a lot of skill, but I just think he's a professional bum slayer. I just don't think that he has been fighting people that he needs to fight. But everybody's hit on that already. It's like he needs to be fighting. He needs to be fighting people that are really, really, really ranked. People that are in the same caliber. His name is up there with the other welterweights right now, and he's fought none of them. His name is in the Thurman conversations, the Porters, the Danny Garcias, the Spences, but he's the only one that has fought absolutely none of them. And Ugas is actually trying to make himself a name in that bracket right now, and fighting Pac-Man is just going to work all the way against him.
Yeah, I get what you say. I get what you're saying. So Crawford, if he fights Porter, how do you see that one playing out then?
Somebody's getting knocked out.
Someone's getting knocked out. Who though?
If Porter lands one of those looping overhand rights, or tackles him up against the ropes or something, he might end up bashing him, dropping him or something. but he hasn't really even been having power under those either, though. And if Crawford sits back and he just breaks down Porter and hits him with some solid, clean stuff and keeps him back, and then breaks him down and hits him with some clean shots, he's probably gonna drop. He's probably gonna drop Porter and knock him out. I don't think that fight goes the distance all the way because Porter's fighting style and Crawford is built to keep somebody at bay, break them down at the same time, and knock them out when anybody's trying to fight like a football player.
My man Steven's in the house. Steven, what's going on?
What's cracking, man? What's cracking?
All good, man. All good. You know what? Yesterday there was a lot of wild accusations. You know what? Steven Spence has got a lot of criticism over the last day. You know, and I think he's going to get a lot of criticism moving forward. You obviously had your stance yesterday. Spence is coming under severe criticism, you know, over the ducking allegations. You know, Miguel Reese just said that he doesn't feel that, you know, Spence was ducking this, that. He feels that, you know, it's a legitimate injury. Why would he, you know, not fight? Why would he not fight Manny Pacquiao? Steven, what have you made of the fans' reaction? You've probably seen some of the comments on my video that I did, you know, about Spence getting a lot of criticism and you know, calling him a ducker. Just sum it up, Steven.
Yeah, just a lot of ignorance. And you know what, man, it's really the cost of doing business. You know, you can't expect for, you know, him not to receive any criticism because he's one of the, you know, top boxers in the game right now. So obviously people are going to be, you know, kind of, you're going to have that segment of people that are always going to be kind of eager to criticize somebody. And, you know, if you look at the information given to us, applied to us, I mean, he had an injury. So stupid. I mean, but you know, you kind of get to a point to where you're like, you get tired of arguing with people about something so stupid. It's so stupid for anybody, so asinine for somebody to, you know, say that he's ducking this, that, and the third. The dude had an injury. It's just all these, you know, conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff. It's just, it gets tiresome. So I'm like, okay, whatever you say, man, whatever you believe.
Do you think it's a lot of the Pacquiao fans? You know, the Pacquiao fans that felt that if Pacquiao got injured, then these channels that are pro Spence and against Pacquiao would have criticized Pacquiao ducking. So now they're taking it out on Spence. Do you think it's a bit of like get back kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, exactly. You remember what I told you, man. There's three boxers that you don't fool with. You don't fool with the Manny Pacquiao fans. You don't fool with Floyd Mayweather fans, and you don't fool with the Canelo Alvarez fans. Those fans they come at you almost like the beehive, like Beyonce's beehive. They come at you and they just they gun you down, man. They out for blood.
Yeah,
and you know,
man.
it's sad, man. It's sad because people don't even interject any sensibility into things anymore. I mean, they just, something happens and they just go on a wild tangent, you know, start, you know, with these wild accusations and all this kind of stuff. It's like, man, this world is crazy. This world is really crazy.
I actually said, Steven, that Errol Spence has actually put up pictures of his injuries. He just posted in the comment that Errol Spence has posted pictures of his injury. So will that obviously he's basically seen the criticism that he's received and he's responded.
Yeah, I mean but sadly enough, that's not going to satiate, you know, the demands of the people. He'll forever always be. Hold on, man. Wait, man. He'll always be remembered as a coward to some people because that's the formula. That's how they have him in his head. You know, in their heads, he's a coward that kind of ducked the fight. It's stupid. It's just stupid. Just dumb. What do you think about it?
Go on, Steven.
I said, I'm asking you, what do you think about it?
Yeah, man. I gave my opinion. I just don't. I just think it's harsh. You know what I mean? If a guy gets a eye injury, like Spencer's worked all his life to get to that position, why would he want to give that up? I don't understand. So it doesn't make sense to me. But coming to DS because he wanted to say something while you were talking. What you wanted to say, DS, to Steven?
Hey, my bad about that, Steve. Don't mean to cut you off or nothing. But
Oh, great.
I
How you doing?
all good, all good. I was just gonna say I can't speculate or assume that if he puts up pictures of his injury and all of that, I can't say that. I can't say. Damn, did I cut out?
No, yeah.
Okay. I can't say that Pac fans and everybody is just gonna be like that's not gonna be enough. If that's not enough, then that's just not enough for the trolls and all the other type of people like that. But you know, people can see legit injuries and stuff like that, you know. Because don't get me wrong, I was on one of the sides of like just the way everything happened with Madonna's little brother. And I would believe it would happen more with, if anything, I would say Maidana's little brother doesn't have an injury because they would have to find someone to keep the fight going in general. So if Spence got injured, the only person realistic, if they didn't just put the fight off, is somebody that has a belt. And it just so happened they got injured on the exact same day, or they announced it on the exact same day. But if he shows, you know, and that's the only person that could come up. So it's like, okay, hey, Madonna, we got to cancel you out real quick. You got to fake an injury or you got to go break a leg somewhere because this guy it's Pac-Man. He has to fight for something. But
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna sit back and think that or assume that all the fans would be like, oh, Spence faked it and all of that shit. Because a lot of the fans just think that, like you said, they got the Bay Hive, Beyonce Hive, or whatever, and you have the diehard Mayweather fans, the diehard Pac fans, and everything. But a lot of them just want everybody to keep the same energy across the board when it comes to different fighters, and they don't. The people don't keep the different people that have their channels and platforms and stuff and their voices. They don't keep their same energy for fighter by fighter. When one fighter gets injured or something, they don't keep the same energy. Like, oh, okay, well, oh, now that's a legit injury. But then the other people are saying, well, no, it's a fake and all of that stuff. But now Pac-Man's Spence is injured. Now you got everybody like, oh yeah, it's just legit out the gate. They don't even question it. Nobody won't even question that. And that's what it is. It's like people are not keeping the same energy across the board when it comes to the fighters that are not their guy. So I guess that's the problem with the biggest problem with everyone clashing and back and forth and the conspiracies and people not wanting to believe anything because they're not keeping the same energy across the board.
Because
so it makes you feel.
Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So it makes you feel like, you know, well, they're bullshitting over there. Then how could? Well, shit. If they're bullshitting and it's not real now, then how come it's not real then? So how come it's supposed to be real now when it's my guy? Or when it's not my guy? It's like, you got it.
Well, here's what I was gonna say. With regards to the actual injury itself, and it being coincidental that Maidana's little brother, whoever he was, he suffered the same type of injury. Man, look, man, boxing is a full contact, martial art. It's a sport of contact and touching. When you sparring, even with headgear, you're susceptible to injury. All right. Now, that type of injury probably happens more often than we know. It probably happens a lot. So that's why that's why I was saying that, hey, it'd be different if Errol Spence, if he had another car wreck, it was something done due to negligence and due to bad living styles on, he had another, he got caught drinking and driving again, had another injury as a result of something like that. But it's a eye injury. You punch people in the face, you punch people in the nose and the eyes, and etc. So man, that's why I was, like when I heard it, I was like, man, obviously I was let down. I was like, man, I'm let down just like everybody else. I had tickets and tickets not to the fight, but I had tickets to Vegas and everything, and I was let down that the fight didn't go through. But I mean, listen, I understand, man. It's the cost of doing business. It's the cost of doing business. It wasn't like he brought this on himself.
It's just, do you believe that most people would have the same energy if it was Pac-Man that this happened to? They were already trying to count him out from his age. They were trying to count him out from COVID. They were, whatever the case may be, then he's looking extremely good. And do you think they would have the same energy when it comes to if Pac-Man got this injury?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, Pac-Man is the most. I would dare say he's the most revered athlete on the planet now, on planet Earth right now. He's up there, man. I mean, and it's according to what form you partake in. If you partake in pro Errol Spence forms, of course they're not gonna have the same energy. If you go on some of the, because I go on a lot of different sites, and I see that Manny Pacquiao fans, they can be kind of illogical as well. Errol Spence fans can be kind of illogical. You should see some of the stuff. So I think it's definitely. I think Pac-Man having a bigger name and having a bigger platform and having more of the success and being beloved, I think they definitely would have had the same energy.
Quick, I want to get Mike. I want to get Mike in because yesterday I think Mike got angry and he left because he was. I think it was a kind of like he heard everyone with all these conspiracy theories and it peed him off, and I think he disappeared, man. But Mike, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How's everybody doing?
What's up,
Good,
Mike?
man.
All good. And yourself?
I'm cool, dog. I wasn't mad with anybody specifically, man, but
Yeah.
I did get a little bit irritated because
Yeah,
it made me it was this happens a lot in boxing, man. It's like
yeah.
you hear the criticism with fans and it's unfair. And I'm like I'm a big Pacquiao fan, bro. Like if anybody that knows me knows that I've gone to war for Pacquiao for years and years, like especially versus a lot of Floyd fans. But this wasn't about that for me. This wasn't about Pacquiao versus Spence. It was just about Spence and the things that they were saying about Errol Spence. So
Mm.
I don't know if you guys know. I think you guys probably brought it up because I just kind of tuned in. But Errol Spence just posted a picture. He has like an eye patch on his. He was in a
Yeah.
hospital, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they might not believe that. They might say he probably set that up too. He's got the background and who the hell knows? Some people will go that far, but as far as the whole situation, he had to do it, man, and it was unfortunate. I think that's another thing, right? Is that we were all anticipating this fight, we were all pumped up, and then this happened. So emotions are high. Everybody gets upset, and then you know how it is in social media compared to like back in the day. Someone makes one comment, and then it just spreads like wildfire. Wildfire. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, they're just throwing it out there, and then they start mounting up conspiracies, and they start connecting this to that and this to that. Next thing you know, you got a whole story, and it could seem like believable. I mean, that's how it is in politics. You see that I mean, you see documentaries and stuff like that when it comes to like conspiracies. But this to me was ridiculous, man. I mean, this was like unnecessary, because there was just it just didn't feel like it should have gotten to that point, or people should take it to that extent. Because again, I think Errol Spence's reputation should matter here, and he's a guy
Mhm.
that we should respect. Because this is a guy who had a car crash, man, a, a situation where he was super lucky. I mean, he could have died. That was a horrible wreck, and he comes back, doesn't even take a tuna fight, and fights Danny Garcia, dude. Like this guy shouldn't even be questioned. He shouldn't even
Mm.
be questioned to that extent, and we know that
Mm.
he fights top
Yeah,
competition,
I'd agree, man. I'd agree.
regardless of what you think of him, or if you're a fan of his or not, or whether what you think of his abilities or whatever, whatever. But you know, to go as far as to like, you know, start these conspiracies and these debates for no reason, man. It just doesn't make any sense. And then as far as the retina issue, you know, how it happened, that's another a good question. You know, that's the information that I don't think we have. You know, we don't have enough information to know how it happened. But what we do know, or at least I've heard other people comment on it, is that it's possible that even in the past, the doctors could have missed it, because retinas don't necessarily have to have symptoms. You know, you could have a tear in your retina and not know it, unless it's like completely detached or something like that. But you could have a tear in your retina and not even know it. So he had to go through a medical test, right, for them to kind of find out. And then the fact that he, see, that's another thing too. The fact that he went to 3 different doctors to get an opinion, kind of, in my opinion, at least shows that he was probably trying to make the fight. He didn't want to pull out of the fight. You know, he wanted different opinions from different doctors, so that you know, just to see if he could go through it. Because, you know, there's a lot of boxers, man, that they fight with a lot of injuries. You know, it would be dumb to assume that every fighter that goes in there doesn't have an injury. We've seen it with a bunch of, I mean, Canelo Alvarez, we've seen him with knee braces. When he fought Triple G, I think the second time he had a knee brace. So we know they, you know, a lot of these fighters have issues, but you can't fuck with the retina tear. What's his name? Who's that British fighter? That UFC fighter? I forgot his name. He's known. He's pretty known. He's an analyst now.
Oh yeah. Chill. No.
Not Shields.
Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping.
Yes, that dude could literally pull out like he has like a fake eye, right?
Yeah. He has
There
something
was
going
a
on.
there was a video that he posted I saw not so long ago, where they told him to do a trick or something with his eye, because he doesn't have his eyes fucked up, and it was because of a retina injury like that. So he has like a fake eye above his actual eyeball. So his eye is completely, like, he can't see from that eye. And he commented on something like that, where he said that his mistake was kind of like going back too soon, and because of that now he can't see from that eye.
Yeah, that's you never want it to get to that stage where, you know, someone loses eyesight, or, you know, I feel like when you've got an eye injury, you shouldn't even be near the boxing ring, man, because it's too dangerous, man. Too dangerous.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
eyesight is the
Yeah.
most important thing, you know what I mean? Not your not boxing career, especially like some of these guys like Spence and that. They've made a lot of money. He's probably made enough now where he could like live the rest of his life. So, and the other thing is, why would you want to turn down a Pacquiao fight where that's going to be his biggest payday, right? There's no incentive. Like, to me, he's got everything to lose, because the chances are now, just say Pacquiao loses to Ugas, he's lost that payday forever.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like if he, you know, if that's what people are insinuating, right? It'd be crazy for him to do that, right? Because Pacquiao could lose to Ugas. We don't know what Pacquiao's got left. He's at 42. He could lose, you know, and then
I think now, you know, now since we've had a day to digest it, I think people are coming to their senses. Like Dusty. Dusty seems to have he seems to have a different opinion about it, different observation about it today after considering everything. But you made some great points, man. I mean, nobody in their right mind is gonna turn down all that for loose. That's a whole lot of money that they that he stands to lose. Just for what so a lot of what everybody's saying is just a bunch of conjecture. But I think people are coming to the senses now. They really mulling over the facts in their head and everything. Like I was saying, like Mike was saying, eye injuries, man. You can take somebody like Abner Mares. You can tell that Abner Mares, he doesn't see straight anymore after that eye injury he sustained. He was supposed to come back and fight Tank, but he had to pull out for this very same reasons. I mean, what if long term? What's more important? Is it your health, or is it just uh, appeasing the public and your fans? I mean, I think we expect too much from our people that, you know, from the people we follow and the people, you know, we take our fanfare too much and, you know, too far, and we expect too much out of these people. But at the end of the day,
Right.
Errol Spence Jr., he's just a person just like you and me. You know, he has all the same. He
Yeah.
has people that love him, and you know they you know he has people that depend on him. He has people that, you know, he's you know that he's responsible for. So he has to make the best decision health wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree. Definitely agree.
Yeah.
Makai,
You know, yesterday with no. Okay, no, go for it.
no, go, Mike, go, Mike. Then I'll come to
No,
Makai
I was
after.
just gonna say, like, you know, when we have these discussions, these debates, you know, we all have differences, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody that's been here, at least a majority of the guys, I would consider to be hardcore fans. You know, the majority of the guys that give their input here are smart dudes that know their history and they know it all. But for whatever reason, and this is not a disrespect towards anyone, but yesterday it just felt like we were surrounded by like fanboys, like literal fanboys. You know, I don't know what it was, but it just kind of
Yep.
felt like that. Like I felt like when I'm in forums. I used to be on forums like on East Side Boxing, you know, back in the days, right? And it was just like it's like uh a mob of just like, you know, they're just like mounting on you, and it's like, you know, it just kind of got out of hand a little bit where you know, these dudes, you know, people just got too excited, and they just kind of started running with it, and they were kind of hyping each other up, and next thing you know, it's like a big ass crowd of just the same over and over, you know. But you know, I'm glad that Errol Spence posted that picture, man, because you know, maybe, you know, hopefully that will, you know, kind of calm some people down, and then we could just kind of move on. Hopefully we could get that fight in the future, you know.
Yeah. Makai, what have you made of it? Couple like a day after. I know you had your opinions
Has
yesterday.
anyone, like, you know, processed that we're actually not getting the fight now? Like, I mean, yesterday, yeah, I knew we wasn't getting it, but I just didn't really process it. But I'm pissed, man. I mean, Pacquiao Ugas, yeah, it's a good fight, but it's not Spence, you know. I mean, that was supposed to be the biggest fight this year as well. And now we're not getting it. It sucks, man. And I mean, Pacquiao said he's going to get he's going to fight. He wants to fight Spence after, but I mean, we're still not getting it on August, and that's what sucks about it, man.
I get what you're saying. It's a bit disappointing. It is disappointing that, you know, we're not getting Pacquiao Spence. But Stephen, as you were saying, or I'll come to Dusty. He hasn't spoke for a while. Dusty, it's one of those things. It's boxing, right? People can get injured. It's a tough sport, and when you're preparing for a tough fight, things can happen, right?
Yeah, things can happen, and it's unfortunately this shit right here happens, and it did. And it did. I think who was it? Was it you, Steven, that just said we're still gonna get a good fight? Who
Um,
was speaking that said
Yeah,
we're gonna get
Stephen
a
believes it's going to be a good fight. Yeah, he
okay.
said that yesterday as well. Ugas is no
Uh,
pushover. What do you think, Dusty?
I think Ugas is gonna be in for the worst nightmare he ever had in his life. Um, I just he's not in the same class. He's not up to that caliber. He looked to me, he looked really bad in his last fight, and then in the fight before that, he didn't look too far off of his last fight. So, I mean, I think Pac-Man will probably do more damage than he did to Margarito to that guy.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
it's and I've just been studying it and looking at all of his fights and just looking like he doesn't have enough movement. I've seen him doing a little bit of showboating here and there at different times. He's not moving around enough. He's not mobile. He's stationary kind of. He's classic. He's textbook classic. I see nothing really. I don't see anything in him in general. I don't see anything that Pac-Man cannot handle, and I don't see anything that where he has a chance outside of a fighter's what is it, a fighter's punch of knocking Pacquiao out or something, of winning the fight, just a fighter's punch. Outside of that, I think he's going to get He's gonna get beaten. He's I mean, his last fight, he threw a punch and he almost threw himself out the ring, throwing the punch. Like, like honestly, I'm telling the truth. His last fight, he threw a punch and he almost threw himself out the ring. I do not see this. I don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's he's gonna take a beating.
Steven, what do you make of what Dusty's had to say?
I think Dusty, man, well, this is one thing I will say about Dusty, man. Yeah, he's kind of like the other dude that comes on here, Christian, the lawyer.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff he said isn't isn't digestible, isn't palatable. But I got to give it to him that he has the guts to say the things he says. All right, but to say that I'm just keep it. I'm gonna keep it funky with you. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know, but as far as Ugas, man, Ugas he's the real deal, man. He's a classic. He shows you and he displays the classic Cuban boxing. Brilliant counter punching. He's tough. He's durable. He's young. He's strong. I'm not gonna say he's gonna win the fight, but to say that suggests that he's gonna take a beating. Come on, man. Don't you think you going a little overboard? It's kind of like you just like since there's not much known of Ugas, you kind of just like, okay, well, this is just somebody, or this is somebody that they just they're giving us, they're throwing it to the wolves. It's not like that, man. Ugas was in the running to have a lot of these top fights. He was rumored to have been fighting Spence. Had the Pacquiao fight didn't go through. He's gonna fight Spence. So man, he's been up there. He's been up there in the talk of the town for a minute. What do you think, Mike?
Ugas was gonna switch weight classes before he would. I mean, Spence would switch weight classes before he fights somebody like Ugas.
No, I mean I agree. I agree a little bit with both of you, with Dusty and Steven. I think. See, my thing with Pacquiao, dog, is that I feel like with Pacquiao we have to go fight by fight basis with him already, man, because he's 42 years old.
Exactly.
So he's a type of guy, man, that like, yeah, if we go based on OG Pacquiao murders Ugas. I mean, he murders him, but because it's been what, 2 years since he's fought. He's 42 years old. It's hard for me to know if he's going to be sharp, if he's going to show his age finally, because I know he's shown it before, but he's not going to get better. He's going to get worse and worse. He's going to continue to decline. So, if you're fighting a live dog, someone that might go in there motivated, that's probably younger, doesn't have the same wear and tear, who's gonna be hyped up for this opportunity. I mean, you got to take everyone seriously, dog. I mean, we saw what happened with Joshua and Reese, even on short notice. Sometimes you got to expect the unexpected when it comes to boxing. But yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna put my money on the fight, of course I'm gonna go with Manny Pacquiao, no brainer. I mean, if he ends up brutalizing Ugas, I don't think anybody's gonna be shocked, right? But if Ugas makes it more competitive than what people expect, I wouldn't be completely shocked either, because that would probably mean that Pacquiao is probably showing more decline, and it's possible because he's already older, man.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Mike's assessment there. I think with Pacquiao, we have to go on fight to fight basis. He's old, man. He's old. You don't know how he's going to perform. You don't know what he's going to be like in his next fight. He's not fought in 2 years. Let's be honest. So I just don't think we can say for 100 that he's going to be in there and he's just going to destroy Ugas. But to that, Dusty, you say what? What's your
So everything with Manny Pacquiao, I've always, no matter what his age, I've always just went at all the training stuff and his footage. And his training looks incredible. He looks young. He's running. He's staying in more than tip-top shape. Like, To fight Spence, someone like Spence, you have to try and put yourself at better shape than you have ever been in your life. And that's what he's been going for. This guy, Ugas, is not fast. He's not quick on his feet. He's not mobile. He doesn't move around. I haven't seen him in a real dog fight. He throws some sloppy punches, overhand, wild looping rights at different times. I'm not saying, who was it? You mentioned that I hadn't watched any of his fights or know who he is. I know who he is because I study boxing. I study fighters. This guy right here is not in that same class. He has no real speed. I just think it's a very bad joke. 42-year-old Pac-Man can still absorb punches. He took some heavy-ass shots from Thurman. We can all agree on that. He took some mean shots on Thurman that I thought he wasn't going to be able to take. I thought it was going to put him down, especially when someone is tired and in the later rounds of a fight. When Pacquiao was tired and in the later rounds of the fight, he took some brutal shots, some nice combinations, straight to the dome, straight to his face, straight to the temple, and he ate him and kept coming and got back out there and proved that he can still do this. So at 42-year-old, the age, I'm not really getting it right now. He's been training for somebody that's at a whole nother caliber than this guy right here. I just think it's going to be a bad joke. It's somebody getting brutalized. I mean, and it's nothing against Ugas. He's a good boxer, but it's a class thing. It's like playing varsity high school football versus playing against the NFL team or something. It's not right.
So you don't think Ugas is in Manny's class, where you don't think this is a competitive fight because Ugas isn't good enough?
No, I don't think it's a competitive fight. I think if anything, it's just a tune-up for Manny Pacquiao just to go in there and show that he can still whoop somebody's ass. I mean, I don't even think Ugas would have fought Spence. I don't think Spence would have fought Ugas. There wouldn't have been enough money for Spence to fight Ugas, and I believe Spence would have moved up to a different class before he even decided to fight someone like Ugas. There's definitely not enough money there. Ugas is not an exciting fighter. I don't see it. He's not. Hey, he has a puncher's chance.
Man,
Steven?
You just, man, I don't know, man. I mean, for some reason, you got it out bad for Ugas. Because
I don't have it. When I have to weigh in on the certain fighters or weigh in on what I'm seeing, I just call it out. Now, if Ugas was fighting someone else, then it would be different.
Dusty, Diggity Dusty, check me out, man. Check me out. I love Manny Pacquiao, but the dude is 42 years old, and like Mike and Enran was saying, how much longer can he sustain this momentum? I mean, you asking him to defy, the laws of physics. How long can he do it? And Ugas is young enough to be that dude's son, man. He's incredible. I mean, have you seen the height advantage? Have you seen the height advantage?
Yes.
And he's a
yes.
Something. I always do this when I'm on live.
I see what Dusty's saying though. I mean, Dusty's basically saying that like even a 50% Manny Pacquiao beats Ugas. You know what I mean? Like so even if he does show some age or if he's declining, he's still gonna smash Ugas, which it's possible. It's possible. But I don't think anybody here is disagreeing with Pacquiao winning the fight. I think we all agree that Pacquiao is probably is going to win the fight. I think we would all probably put our money on Manny Pacquiao. The only difference here, I guess with Steven is that he just thinks that it might be more competitive than maybe what Dusty thinks, or it could be more competitive potentially.
So check me out, Mike. Is it Mike, right?
Yeah.
All right, so check it out. This is how I kind of look at it too. If we think it's going to be competitive versus Pac-Man versus Ugas, then Pac-Man should have never even been training to fight Spence. If I believe that Ugas is going to be competitive fight for Pac-Man, then Spence was just going to demolish Pac-Man then. I just don't think Ugas is in that class.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. Like, you know, even a 50% Manny Pacquiao would kill Ugas. So you just don't have Ugas anywhere near that level. But I don't think that's the argument that we're saying. Our thing is not about class. Like, it's not about class. Like, I agree with you 100% about the class. The class is, there's no debate on that. It's the unknowns of Manny Pacquiao's age. That's the only thing. It's the unknown. If Manny Pacquiao goes in there and he's the same version, the similar version, right? Then I'm with you 100%. He's probably he probably kills him. He could kill him. But I don't know. Me personally, man, I just, like I said, I feel like I'm going on a fight by fight basis with Pacquiao, man, because of that. You know, like sooner or later, you know, something
Age
could
is gonna
happen. You know,
kick
I don't
in.
know. Yeah,
Father
I mean,
Time is
assuming
undefeated.
right. Assuming he continues to fight, who knows? He might retire in a couple fights. You know, I don't know. We might not even see that massive decline, but it happens to everyone, man. It happens to everyone.
Makai,
what do I think of Pacquiao and Ugas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with Dusty a little. You know, I didn't really rate Ugas. I find him a bit average, you know. But again, as Mike said, Pacquiao is 42. We haven't seen him fight in 2 years. But I'm looking at his training. He's looking really great. But we've all seen fighters look really good in training and then decline in fights. But you know, obviously, this is Pacquiao we're talking about. He's a very special fighter. So yeah, I'm definitely picking Pacquiao to win. I don't see it being competitive, really. I mean, you know, Ugas can land the lucky punch. That's it. But I don't see it being competitive at all. You know.
Do you see a stoppage?
Yeah, Pacquiao could probably stop him. You know, Ugas has never seen nothing like Pacquiao. The footwork, the speed, and everything. You know, and Ugas is a bit flat-footed and everything. You know, he's average.
So, Stephen, I'm gonna come to you. Do you think Pacquiao will stop Ugas?
No, I don't think I think he has the capabilities of stopping him. He's Manny Pacquiao. Of course he does. Is it very likely? Ugas is hungry. He's been asking for this. This is the shot of this just like it was a shot of once in a lifetime shot for Spence. It's the same thing. Anybody who fights Manny Pacquiao, it's a life changing event. So I don't think he has in his mind that he's gonna go down, just go and just lay down in front of him and just give it to him. No, I think he gets too much pride for it. And you can tell by his swagger and how he fights that he's gonna be hard to put down. He's gonna be hard to put down. I see this being a good fight, believe it or not. I see this being just as good of a fight as what Spence was. Why? Because I watched enough of Ugas and I see how he operates in the ring, and I can come up with that determination. Now here's the thing.
Oh shit, my bad, bro. I don't mean to cut you off, dude. Go ahead. We gotta be having stand-up comedy night, man. This is not possible, man. Oh, my bad. Let me mute this, man.
What's going on with you, man? Everything okay?
No, it's just the credit that you're giving Ugas right now. It's just like have you seen this guy? Have you studied him?
He's looked really average, mate. Ever since
the only thing Ugas has in his favor is Pac-Man's age. That is it. But I'm sorry, I'm muting up.
I think you're being harsh on Ugas, man. I actually think I actually think Ugas is a good fighter. Now, he may not have looked good in his last couple of fights, but let's not forget, Dusty, was he robbed against Sean Porter? Yes or no? What do you think?
I don't think he even watched that fight, man. I think
Yes, he was
Dusty and
robbed against Sean Porter. Yes, he was
Okay,
robbed against Sean
so
Porter. Look at you.
is
You
Sean
trying to
Porter?
discredit me. Calm
No,
down,
I'm
buddy.
not. I'm not. I'm saying
I
you.
So
watched the
I just
fight,
say
man.
is Sean Porter a top
I'm
welterweight?
saying,
Is Sean Porter a top welterweight?
Sean Porter is a tough welterweight, and he is one of the top welterweights. He didn't. Well, am I going to put him up in the caliber of the rest of them at the moment? He took his loss. He's been declining. He stayed away from Ugas a lot. He was jumping in and out. So the beginning rounds, they were kind of getting booed a lot, for not really exchanging and getting in there. Sean Porter wasn't fighting his best to fight. It was kind of weak in general. Ugas was getting hit with some big shots at different times throughout the fight. I still feel like Ugas won that fight though, but that wasn't that was like whatever. I still
do
can't
you
even really
really feel
go on
like?
that fight.
I mean, do you
So do
really
you
feel
think
like
that was
If
that fight?
Pac-Man's last fight, if we keep going all of their last fight on a fight-by-fight basis, like you guys are saying, if we go on a fight-by-fight basis, like we have to do with Pac or we have to do with Ugas, on a fight-by-fight basis, Pac-Man beats him clearly on a fight-by-fight basis for his
Let
last
me
5 or 6 fights.
let me tell you something, man. That last fight with Keith Thurman, if you take
Pacquiao
away
beat
the
him up.
knockout,
no?
wait,
Come on,
hold-
he didn't beat him. That was a close fight.
I
see
had
that's
it
what I'm
8 to
saying.
4 or 7 to
First
5.
half of the fight, yeah, Pacquiao was ahead of Thurman, but Thurman in that second half of that fight, come on, Dusty, he definitely clawed it back, and he was landing big shots.
He was landing big shots, and I still
And see,
have
and
it
see,
8 to 4 or 7 to 5.
and
So
see,
that's
this
a
is
close
what
fight.
Mike was saying. This is what Mike was saying, and I feel Mike 100%. Sometimes it feels like, because I know that you're an intelligent dude, man. I know that you know about boxing and you could talk that talk, but sometimes it seems like you fall into the realm of fanboyism, and don't be that guy. Don't be that
Jesus
guy.
Christ,
Where
man.
you can't be objective, man. I mean, because
I can be
anybody
objective, but I
anybody
have to
with
be
two eyes to
realistic
see,
at the same time. The
but hold
only
on,
thing
anybody
Pac
with two
has,
eyes to see that fight, the second half of that fight, if you take away that knockdown, Keith Thurman, you could argue that he won the fight.
listen,
That's
Keith
the
Thurman got
argument.
hit in the gut and took his own mouthpiece out and ran around. To me, I score that as a 10-8 round. If you take your own mouthpiece out because you get hit that hard and
Don't be
run
that guy.
from the other player, you have to. And Pacquiao run the 12th round at the same time.
And
Like,
I feel
Hey,
like you should.
Dusty, but you also said that Pacquiao got hit with some big
yes,
ass
he
shots
did.
from Thurman, dog.
And that's what I'm
It
saying.
was
He
a
ate him.
competitive fight, bro. He did, no doubt. But it was a competitive fight, man. It was a competitive fight. And I was impressed by Manny Pacquiao, dog, because honestly, I thought that was an incredible performance for me. But I don't know, man. Like, there's something about, I get you like about Ugas though. Like, individually, if I rate Ugas on an individual, just not comparing him to anyone else, he doesn't come off as like a super impressive guy, right? And you see him versus the opposition that he's faced, and he doesn't stand out like that. But sometimes there's guys, man. Look, he's a pretty big dude. He's a white dude. He looks like he's got physical advantages on Manny Pacquiao, and maybe he's one of those cats, bro, who fights, better when the opposition rises, and when he fights guys on his level, he's a dud. There's some guys that are like that, maybe he's more competitive. I think that's what Steven is saying. So I don't think, because Steven, you're not saying Pacquiao's gonna lose, right?
No, I ain't saying that he's gonna lose. I'm saying that
Yeah.
this is a good fight, man.
Yeah.
Right, like
Don't
you're saying
snub
it's
it
more
out with this fight.
competitive than what Dusty, right? You're saying it's more competitive. It's more dangerous than what Dusty thinks it's gonna be. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think especially on short notice, who the hell knows, man? Because Manny Pacquiao doesn't, he has to game plan for someone completely different now. So like, there's just a lot of shit up in the air, man. That, like, you know, his age, the fact that this was coming in on short notice, you know, the physical advantages that Ugas brings to the table. He does have somewhat of an awkward style, Cuban style. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess anybody could be right. You know, who knows? It's like we're flipping a coin in a way. You know, Dusty could be right. You know, right on point. Steven, you could be right on point. You know, this one's kind of tough, man, because there's just a lot of questions.
I'm just like this, man. I'm not a fanboy. That's funny. That's hilarious. But I just look at it like this. Keith Thurman, the Thurman that fought Pacquiao beats Ugas up. Beats him up. To me, cleanly beats him up. This dude is just stationary. I mean, I don't see
That's
anything.
what I was saying, man. Stationary.
I don't see anything. When I look at Ugas, I see somebody that's a little better than Margarito. I don't see anybody that's doing anything spectacular. I don't see nothing but size. I can't even just go lightly because I'm not somebody that's going to go lightly and say it could go half, it could do this. I'm going to be realistic for myself. It's just a puncher's chance. A puncher's chance, or Manny Pacquiao, Father Time just catches up, and it hasn't caught up during him doing all of his training and all of his stuff, but it might catch up in the ring. But this dude Ugas gets gassed out.
What you mean by a little bit better than Margarito, though? Like, you're saying, like, you comparing their styles or just levels?
I'm just comparing some levels. Like, he's just stationary and probably a little faster with his hands. He's big like Margarito. He's a very big dude. Ugas is. He's a big dude. But he's just way too stationary. It's like he's just he's gonna stand around. It's just like I said, we can agree to disagree. We all agree that we believe Pacquiao is going to win the fight. Father Time may catch up. I don't see it happening against Ugas. And then Ugas is not really a 12-round fighter. He gets gassed out, like really gassed and tired.
And
by
I mean,
the 8th round.
Yeah, and I mean, Ugas only looked good against Porter because Porter was standing there sometimes swinging with him. Ugas, yeah, he's a tough guy. He is tough. Yeah, and he was using his weight for it. I mean, Pacquiao's just going to stand there. He's going to go in and out, use his speed. You know, and Ugas, he's a come-forward fighter. Trust me, he won't be going forward when he fights Pacquiao. Everyone that's a come-forward fighter, yeah? And then when they fight Pacquiao, they're all of a sudden on the back foot all the time. He takes them out of their comfort zone. That's exactly what he's going to do to Ugas.
Yeah, the moment could be too big for Ugas too. You know, that could also affect him too. You know, I mean, he's fighting Manny Pacquiao. The crowd's going to be 100% for Pacquiao, so that could affect the fighter as well. You know, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, who knows? Yeah,
maybe Ugas and Danny Garcia might be a good fight.
Who wins that?
Yeah. That's a 50-50.
I think Ugas.
Yeah, Danny Garcia, man, he's just washed up now, isn't he? Well, I wouldn't say washed up, but yeah, I
still say Danny Garcia is a good I still think he still could beat a lot of the welterweights.
Like who?
Like not the top ones, but the ones below the top.
Yeah.
Like,
okay,
who would you pick to beat? Like, you wouldn't pick none of the, the top ones. Or like, could Danny Garcia beat Sean Porter? Possibly.
Nah.
Would he beat Keith Thurman?
Well, I haven't seen. Well, Thurman's obviously he's been out as long as Pacquiao, but we haven't seen him. He hasn't been. Has he even been training really? Like he's been gaining weight. He's had surgery and all that. I don't really know, to be honest. But
this is what I mean. So
yeah. So
with Thurman, he could easily beat Thurman at this stage in Thurman's career.
Yeah, exactly.
Thurman's like inactive. He isn't fighting. When is Thurman gonna fight?
Yeah. Hasn't even got a fight announced or anything, man. I don't even know who he's fighting. He was supposed to be fighting at Ugas, but that just obviously, it fell through.
So here's the thing, Dusty. Who's your daddy Alba has a question for you. Ugas stationary. What the hell is this dude talking about? Ugas was so mobile v Porter and other fighters. Let's not forget, he comes from the Cuban school style.
I haven't seen him look like I haven't seen him use that Cuban style though, like a Lara. I've never
For
seen
real.
anything. Yeah, I've never seen anything from Ugas like that.
Is that a question? Is that a real question, or he's just stating something? That's not true. Ugas is more stationary and just moves forward. That's not, he has no head movements. He keeps his head on the line. He's no bobbing and weaving and parrying punches and stuff like that. He has the textbook classic guard that's up for the most part. Like, from his last 3 fights, I mean, that's not me trying to bash him. That's just me looking at his last 3 fights, win or lose. That's what he does. And he gets gassed out in each one of those fights. Stationary is just a term of not having enough head movement, not moving around enough. You know, sometimes you might catch somebody with some of the stuff, some of your little counter punches. Is Ugas a better counter puncher than somebody like Danny Garcia, which I would consider to be a stationary boxer too, for the most part? No, I don't see him as a more effective counter puncher than somebody like Danny. And Danny has the same classic style for the most part, textbook high guard up and just trying to counter. But Ugas does let his hands go a little more. But when he lets his hands go, either wide and sloppy, or he's just letting them go. There's no real defense behind it.
Fair enough.
But
fair enough.
If I talk down on a fighter, just know this. It's not me speaking down, but if I'm speaking and it sounds like I'm going too hard on him, I'm just looking at it from, honestly, I can break it down from what I'm seeing and how I'm seeing him move and how I'm seeing him deal with the level of opponents that have been put in front of him.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Steven, what do you think happens if Pacquiao wins? Do you think we'll get to see a Spence fight in the future?
It's going to be kind of hard to tell if that happens, because there is no timeline as to when Errol Spence is going to be healthy. I mean, fully ready to go, cleared by doctors, got the confident mindset. There's that could take upwards of two years. Manny Pacquiao is not getting any younger. I think Manny Pacquiao, if he beats Ugas, I think he needs to fight either Crawford or give us a rematch with Keith Thurman. I don't think Manny Pacquiao has it in the tank to has enough left just to wait on Spence. I think this was a unfortunate chain of events, set of circumstances, and it didn't come to fruition. And I think that chance may be kind of diminishing, even though Pac-Man is saying that he'll give Errol Spence a chance to fight after he gets healthy and everything. But is that fair to Pacquiao? Is that fair to him? He ain't get no old, he ain't get no younger. So I think he if he beats Ugas, fight Crawford, man, or fight Keith Thurman. Those two. Call it a day, roll off into the sunset, become president, and live like the legend you are.
Guys, what do you think?
He should fight Crawford, then Gervonta Davis.
Gervonta Davis.
Boy. You be on the wild.
Nah, because I seen something on one of the forums, man, on some posts on a couple channels talking about freaking Tank Davis is more skilled than Pac-Man and all of this shit. And it's like, and I know it's something that they would end up putting money on and all this other shit. And I'm like, damn, Davis might actually hit him in the head with a smooth uppercut and knock Pac out. But as far as him having more skill than Pac or anything, I mean, Pac might just demolish him.
Is that a fight you would want to see, though?
It's something I wouldn't mind seeing. I don't know. No, I wouldn't. I'd rather see him fight Crawford, or him come down come down a notch and beat the shit out of Mikey Garcia.
Nah, Mikey Garcia fight, no. Nah, Mikey Garcia fight, that's a no for me. I want Pacquiao. I would love Pacquiao to fight Crawford. I even said the Crawford fight when it was announced that they might be fighting. It got me more excited than the Spence Pacquiao.
Man, that shit is dangerous, man. Crawford is dangerous.
You think?
I personally think Spence would have been a harder fight for Pacquiao than Crawford, though.
What do you think, Dusty? Mike?
I think Crawford is dangerous, extremely dangerous. I kind of see it the other way. I think Crawford is more skilled than Spence, but I think Spence has been more tested than Crawford. I believe Crawford again he has a lot of skill, and I believe he has a lot of talent and may be able to pull off some real stuff. But from his record, he's only been a professional bum slayer. That's at the welterweight division. Now, as far as Spence, he's fought some better competitors and shit. So, but I believe Crawford's style, his style will give Pac-Man hell of problems. A lot of issues.
And Crawford, he fights with his hands down, though, man. And we've seen his chin's suspect as hell. I see Manny, Manny catching him badly. Because we've seen how Crawford fights. He loves to swing with you. He has his chin up in the air. We've seen him get clipped at times. We've seen it happen. No, man. It's not a good fight for Crawford.
What do you think, Stephen? Or Mike? Mike, you there?
Mike done touched out again.
Yeah, he's touched out. Stephen, what do you make? Yeah, Mike. Who do you think we'll see a Spence fight with Pacquiao?
I don't know, man. I think Stephen, it's like we don't know. We need more info. The only thing that we go for is that, at least from what I've read, because I can't go based on anything else. He didn't have a complete detached retina. He had a tear in his retina, so it's possible that that he could come back sooner, and it won't be like a year thing, 2-year thing, or something like that. So maybe it's we could see that fight. I doubt this year, but maybe early next year. That's like probably maybe the best case scenario. But yeah, man, at that point, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Because we're not really gonna know until we get more information, and then we don't know what Pacquiao's gonna want to do, because Pacquiao's he's his own boss, so he's gonna get to decide whether he wants to stick around or whether he wants to retire, or whether or if he wants to fight someone else. And then if he fights someone else and something happens, where let's say he fights Crawford, loses, and that derails any other fight. So we don't really know. But as far as the matchup between Crawford and Spence, I think they're both tough. They're just different styles, but they could be both tough. He'd have a hard time with both of them, but he just have to deal with different things. With Crawford just being a more, like Dusty said, being a more maybe skilled counter puncher style, try to box him, move around, use his athleticism. And then Errol Spence, I think, trying to impose his size, his physicality and volume, just throwing a lot of punches. And so, yeah, he'd have a hard time with both guys, just different styles.
Fair enough. Guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Does anyone want to say anything before we wrap it up?
Yeah. Let me get back to the conspiracy side. Nah, I think they might be building up a big fight right now for Errol Spence and Pacquiao to fight in Manila, as far as Pacquiao's last fight.
Yeah, possibility. Yeah, that'd be great.
That'll be major.
Your mind stays working, man. Your mind stays working, man.
I just
And
I just think it'd bring a lot of money and it'd be real tight.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
sick. I don't know if that will happen, but it would be sick.
Yeah. Do you think that comes off? Do you
Nah.
think Spence would go to Philippines to fight him?
Definitely not.
Well, they're gonna have Kenny Bayless be the ref anyways.
Mm.
Sure. I think he'll go to Manila and fight. You know, he'll go
I
wherever.
don't think he will.
Yeah, Spence. Who
Why
knows, man?
why
With
wouldn't
Spence, who
he go?
knows? He went to
And he went to
England
the UK.
Yeah.
That's true. He did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
personally
actually
think
forgot about that. I forgot about the Brooks that he went to Brooks. Do you know what? I actually think he would then. I think he might.
yeah, that would be good.
All right, well, Philip, it's been real, man. About to get on out of here too, man. Y'all
Yeah,
take
man.
it easy.
Take it easy, guys. Take care, and we'll hopefully
right.
come back on Friday.
Always a pleasure.
All
I
right,
gotta
for
study.
sure.
Gotta study some more Ugas just so I can see
All
what
right.
if anybody thinks he has movements. I gotta check that out.
Nah, you got no
Peace
movement.
out.
All right. See you in a bit.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Peace out, guys. Take care.
All right, peace.